Maria.
Commercial siya, diba?
Bayang magiliw, pedas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyod ka ng magiting, sa manlulubog. Di ka pasisiil sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw. May dilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y ng nininig. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng luwad, hatid pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mang-aapit, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here to sing the national anthem for Mexico, please welcome Grammy Award nominee, Mexican pop artist Cristian Castro.
Aba, may kulay din.
Hindi pala pwedeng tanggalin yun.
Meron bang ano to?
Toro-toro.
Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero
Marquez ka ba, Marquez?
y retiembla su ser.
Kakapanood ko ng mga Mexican kalaban ni Pacquiao.
Memorize mo na.
Kumanta yung mga
Y
Mexicano.
retiembla su
Oo,
ser.
sila nag-meet. Oo, sabi ko kayo, nag-meet.
Del cañón. Si
Nakabahan natin si Marcos.
patria tú sienes de oliva, de la paz del arcángel divino, en el cielo tu eterno destino, por el dedo de Dios escribió. Mas si osare un extraño enemigo profanar con tus plantas tu suelo, piensa, oh patria querida, que el cielo un soldado en cada hijo te dio, un soldado en cada hijo te dio. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero aprestar y el bridón, y retiembla en su centro la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón.
Kasi nakikinig sila eh, baka magkamali.
Babantay sila eh, kasi in-news mo yan sa TV Patubo kasi kung paano kinanta.
¡Viva México! ¡Vamos, Juana! ¡Viva México! And now, ladies and gentlemen, with the Nellis Air Force Base Color Guard here in the ring, and with dedication to the men and women who serve in harm's way with the armed forces of the United States of America, here to sing the national anthem of the USA, please welcome Season 10 American Idol star and recording artist, Tia Mejia.
Yeah. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched. We're so gallantly streaming. And the
Alam mo, hindi naman kumakata yung American crowd eh. Hindi nila kapasado.
Mahaba daw.
Kaway kasama ng video. Kaway kasama. Papasok na sila.
Tail of the tape. Manny Pacquiao against Juan Manuel Marquez. And of course, the 6-year age advantage for Pacquiao is cited by many as
Tonight.
favorite to win the fight. And he's been traded to Marquez. They're equal in arm length in the fit. They both weighed in a pound or two under the 144-pound agreed-upon catch weight limit. Neither felt
Yung
all the way to 144 tonight. Pacquiao weighs in 4 pounds at 148, and Marquez has gone up to 150. Talking about numbers, and in the first two fights, the same pattern was observed in both fights. And that pattern is Pacquiao throws more, and particularly throws more damage, but lands at a lower percentage than Marquez, who landed more punches and landed more power punches in both of the two fights and landed at a higher percentage in both of the two fights. The most important statistic, however, knockdowns. In 24 rounds, Pacquiao was able to put Marquez on the canvas 4 times. Marquez never was able to get Pacquiao down. And that's the reason that Pacquiao has a draw and a 1-point win in 2 fights coming into tonight. Highlights of the 2 fights. Their first fight 7 years ago. May 8, 2004. And the first round, Emmanuel Stewart, it appeared that Marquez was not ready, was not dialed in on Pacquiao's left-hand power.
Normal pa itsura niya yun. Normal pa itsura
Artificial na si JB.
Manny Pacquiao punches all the way through his
Natural
mouth.
pa si Jimmy.
Cartoons na siya
He was put down, and after he figured that out, he came back and fought a great fight. So they had a real tough first round.
After that first round, in the eyes of one judge, Marquez won 10 of the next 11. As he turned the fight around with tremendous right-hand counterpunching, seemed to have Pacquiao solved. They fought furiously to the finish. Pacquiao made a comeback later in the fight and landed some more power shots, but Marquez reached the final bell thinking he had come all the way back from the 3 knockdowns to win the fight. Instead, it was called a draw, and technically incorrectly so, because Burt Clement's score, 113-113, was wrought partially by the fact that in the first round, despite the fact that Marquez went down 3 times, he gave him 7 points. The other 2 judges both scored the first round correctly, 10-6 for Pacquiao. E. Jutron loved the counterpunching of Marquez, John Stewart loved the aggression of Pacquiao. So they fought again 3 years later in 08. And actually it was 4 years later in 08. And the fight began pretty much the same way, and in round 3, Pacquiao's left hand found the target again.
That is what he has to look out for tonight even. Seems like he gets hit mainly with the left hand mostly, because Marquez keeps his right hand a little bit wide with his defensive fight, and Manny finds a gap to get inside. But beyond that, Manny Pacquiao has a rough time with Marquez, except for that those left hand shots that he can get inside.
Later in the fight, Marquez was cut by an accidental punch. Then Pacquiao was cut by a punch. Then Marquez was cut by a punch. Then they fought feverishly to the bell, with blood on both of their faces. And when the final bell rang, once again the judges had an extremely difficult assignment on their hands. And this time, they met the challenge in very similar fashion to the scoring of the first fight. Wayne Ford liked Pacquiao's aggression. Jerry Roth liked Marquez's counterpunching. Tom Miller in the middle was the man who broke the draw. 114, 113 for Pacquiao. So the knockdown in the third round, a single point, the difference in the fight, the reason Pacquiao was able to beat Marquez in their second fight. Since those two fights, Manny Pacquiao has mounted one of the most amazing sustained runs in the history of the sport. He went up to lightweight and beat David Diaz. He went to welterweight and beat Oscar De La Hoya. He beat Ricky Hatton at junior welterweight. He beat Miguel Cotto at welterweight. He went to 154 pounds and beat Joshua Clottey. He easily beat the much bigger Antonio Margarito. He walked through Shane Mosley at welterweight. Every one of those fighters, a naturally larger man than Pacquiao, none of them anywhere close to giving him competition in the ring.
And you know what, in addition to those being such big, famous, recognizable marquee names, he probably lost about 4 rounds total.
He annihilated him. Meanwhile, Juan Manuel Marquez has had one slip-up since the 2 fights with Pacquiao. That was the one time he decided to go up and weight to welterweight, fight Floyd Mayweather at a catchweight. He was as though in quicksand in that fight, had no chance of keeping up with Mayweather, and was annihilated over the course of 12 rounds. In addition, Mayweather knocked him down, so did the relatively ordinary Michael Katsidis. Obviously, to have a best chance to prove his point and win against Pacquiao tonight, Marquez must try to stay on his feet for the full 12 rounds.
Yes, I am a Vegas
Their records are amazingly similar. Marquez's record is 53-5-1 with 39 knockouts. Pacquiao is 53-3-2
I have the target.
with 38 knockouts. Virtually identical.
Dangerous.
Juan Manuel Marquez, in the second half of his career, finally emerged from under the big
Ikaw na,
shadow.
may live na siya. Pasok na rin.